In Halim Ali, founder and executive director from the Heart Enterprises, to talk more about the impact of the verdict in George Floyd's death. So I just want to start by asking you, did you watch this trial, and take a moment to explain why you chose to or not to?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Alex. To be honest with you, I did not watch the trial because of the vicarious trauma that Black men in America experience on a daily basis without the reminders of racism, without the constant reminders of social injustice, without the constant reminders. So to continue to put myself through that pain, through that trauma, was quite unbearable. But I must admit, I did anxiously await and anticipate the verdict. However, with the verdict, I didn't feel any better.
I understand every syllable of what you just said. I do want to ask you, though, Halim, how are you feeling right now in the wake of a verdict? Maybe we didn't expect it to be guilty on all counts. How do you feel?
Alex, it's the same as when Jackie Robinson made it into the Pro Baseball League. This is but one small victory, yet I think Derek Chauvin had to be the scapegoat or the sacrificial lamb for the situation when it's the American justice system that is failing us. So yes, we have this one prosecution, but what about all of the other murders that have happened that have gone unacknowledged or they've been done unapologetically, they've gone unacknowledged, and these people are living their lives. So yeah, Derek Chauvin is it is a milestone. However, it doesn't serve any justice for those who we have lost in the past, over the past 100 years.
And there are so many names, so many hashtags that deserve justice.
Yes.
So,
yes.
This is such an emotional time for the Black community, that goes without being said, but, especially from Black men, and that's a perspective that you can share that I can't. Can you explain the weight of all of this?
It's a heavy lift, and it's been a heavy lift all my life. However, after turning my life around and becoming a faithful member of society, 2 days ago, I found the police behind my daughter and I while I was driving, and my heart began to race, and I had to ask myself, are these police about to kill me in front of my daughter? Right? My daughter, when she saw George Floyd die, Daddy, are they going to kill you too? Right? So the toll that it takes and the chronic trauma that it creates in our lives every day. And it doesn't matter if you are in alignment with the law or doing something to break the law. It doesn't matter if you're resisting arrest or if you are in compliance. It's really like it's a lose-lose. As soon as those red lights go on, we have to start wondering if I'm going to live through this infraction, through this arrest, through this entanglement, through whatever it is that we are being accused of. We're already guilty because our skin becomes our sin.
Yeah. Can we ever really have justice until everyone can feel safe? Final question, and a difficult one, I think one that I would love an answer to, because we're all struggling now and have been for a while. What do you feel like we can do in our community, Black people specifically, to protect our mental health right now? It's heavy.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for asking me that question. And if it's okay, I'd like to read a quote from the late, great James Baldwin from his book, The Fire Next Time. And it says, something very sinister happens to the people of a country when they begin to distrust their own reactions as deeply as they do here, and become as joyless as they have become here. It is this individual uncertainty on the part of white American men and women, this inability to renew themselves at the fountain of their own lives, that makes this discussion, let alone elucidation of any conundrum, that is, any reality, so supremely difficult. The person who distrusts himself has no touchstone for reality, for this touchstone can be only oneself. So with that touchstone, we have to do some strong introspection of ourselves. And when I'm speaking to Black men in terms of mental health, because I'm in a generation, Alex, that's come from violence, that's come from gang violence, that's come from hate and self-imposed crimes upon ourselves, regardless who is at fault. And we have got to overcome these things ourselves. We've got to figure out our national problems for ourselves and start showing up for each other, start being there for each other, start being there for our children. Right? We have to do better as Black men. There was a Black officer who watched the life seep out of George Floyd's body. He stood by and watched another Black man being killed. He is just as guilty as George Floyd. So we can no longer sit and watch each other die.
Halim, beautifully said. Please know that we value your voice and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.